Hey Deb, it's Zoe again. We're talking about the Stenographer, my play which you're directing. So you asked me about how I came to writing the play, and I talked a little bit in another video, a previous video, about having read Crime and Punishment and the true stories of famous authors like Dostoevsky and Tolstoy, whose wives were either their stenographers or their editors and helped them played an integral role in their writing process and in the completion of some of their novels. So I won't talk about that right now, but I'll just add a couple more things. So about how I wrote the play. So one of the things that prompted me to sit down and write it had to do with structure. So I wanted to write a play that would be would feature two characters and would be set in one room, so one set, and take place in real time. So lights come up, the actors start talking, and when they stop talking, lights come down. That's the play. And I wanted to experiment with that structure, which of course, granted, it's been done before, but I hadn't done it. So I wanted to see if I could take a story, take the story that I had in mind, and pour it into this structure, this very kind of rigid and a little bit contained structure, and make it interesting for the audience. So that was one thing, and the other was to take two characters that are and so one of the things that I try to do in order to make it work was to take Crime and Punishment and make it a topic of conversation for the characters that would drive the conversation. And because it's a book that's tackles all these very large ideas, these big ideas, it was a way to inject that kind of scope into that very contained, again, structure. And I also wanted to take two characters who would be seemingly be opposites, so a man and a woman, seemingly opposites but not really, and also a college professor. The man is a college professor and the woman is a stripper. So for two different worlds, and bring them together in this room and have them, have it out, so to speak, in conversation. Like the room becomes a sort of a boxing ring of sorts. And so I wanted to see, how I might make that work, so that these two people come to a point where they their job description, it cannot be used. They cannot use it in order to avoid confronting certain truths and making a confession and connecting with each other in a very deep way, and finding a certain kind of intimacy, intellectual at least, and the woman is a stripper, and I do write about people in the sex industry. You don't know this about me, but I do write characters who are in the sex industry in my plays, my screenplays. My other play that's about a prostitute, Beauty is Prison Time, it deals with the rather violent aspect of the horrifying violent aspect of this industry. But I am interested in it in all of its expressions, whether it's prostitution and sex trafficking, or porn and strip clubs. I just find it fascinating, and there's something primitive about it that we're trying to normalize, and I don't think we can. I don't know if we can. I certainly, I'm not trying to make a moralistic point, because what's the point in doing that? But as a writer, I'm fascinated by it, and I'm trying to understand it, and I'm trying to imagine what people in these kinds of situations feel, what they're feeling, whether it's the person taking the money or the person who is giving the money, and what their thoughts and feelings are in these kinds of situations. And that was another thing that I wanted to get into and to explore with the stenographer. And yeah, that's about it. I try to make this this video a bit shorter, so I'm waiting to hear back from you. We'll talk soon. Bye bye.